Good morning, YouTube. I would like to address what I seen on the website Wikipedia when I looked up Downtown Dayton and the utter lies these that that these that these statistics that they're listing represent. There are just some numbers here that are just simply not true. I want to focus on the second paragraph. While much of the city's population decamped to the surrounding suburbs in the second half of the 20th century, downtown Dayton has began again to gain population since the early 2000s with over a 90% occupancy rate. Downtown Dayton is home to 42,000 employees, 20,000 residents, more than 7 million visitors, and it is becoming one of the most technologically oriented and high-tech downtowns in the United States. This is just utter bullshit, people. And if you see what they're listing below, they're listing some of the employers as well. Education. Downtown is home to Sinclair Community College, University of Dayton. Sinclair, the largest community college at a single location in Dayton, in Ohio. One of the largest community colleges in the nation. And the University of Dayton is not within downtown. That's considered actual midtown. So they clearly are misrepresenting these numbers. But one thing I want to address, the 42,000 employees, even if they are including Miami Valley Hospital and actual University of Dayton, which is in the Midtown area, there is no way you're going to get 42,000 people. And within the actual downtown boundaries, which is Washington Street to Monument Street, over to the Great Miami River, over to Kiwi Street, I would say the actual number of jobs in that area is actually closer to, I'm going to say, anywhere from 9 to no more than 15,000. And the largest private employer downtown is Premier Health. The Premier Health, they have an office building at the corner of 2nd and Main Street. That's the largest private employer, and probably the largest, education employer down there would actually be Sinclair. And the largest, government funded, employer right now would have to be CareSource. But like within the office buildings themselves, which I've showed those in a few different videos, you aren't going to get any more than probably 2,500 employees, no more than 25 to 3,000 employees in those at the very most, because a lot of them have a very high vacancy rate. So you might get 3,000 at the very most out of those. And within, like, Sinclair itself, I'll say you get about another 2,000 to 4,000 out of that. But I'll say the number's closer to 2,000 employees. And CareSource, probably about the same amount of people within that. So you probably got about, I'm going to estimate, between Sinclair, CareSource, and the Premier Health building, you might have 6,000 employees at the very most. Combine those, and then most of the other jobs that are downtown are all government jobs. That includes the county building on West 3rd Street, City Hall, the federal building, things like that, all the government, stuff that, City Hall, the courts, the safety building, the federal building, which I'll estimate you probably got probably close to 5,000 employees there combined. So I'll estimate just what I've seen. I would say probably 12,000 employees is probably a safe estimate on just what I've seen. And also, like most of the restaurants, for example, you may have maybe, I'm going to estimate 20 to 40, different restaurants within downtown itself, which for a downtown is really not a whole lot. And those typically employ no more than 20 people at tops. So you might have another 500 to 1,000 people, that are employed out of that. And then, with the bars, it mentions, the entertainment district down here, where it mentions, the various bars. In downtown Dayton, nightlife is considered one of the best nightlife districts. That is simply a lie, and I've talked about that in other videos, so I'm not going to really address that too much, but most of the nightlife is centered around the Oregon district, and then they got the gay district, which is, there's a few gay bars over there, but the Brown Street district, there really isn't much of a nightlife down there because there's only a couple bars down there. That's mainly restaurants. And the ballpark, which it mentions right here, there's only 2 or 3 bars right next to Fifth Third Field. So a lot of this stuff that we're told and we're read about, that we read, we got to really question the information that we're actually given about this stuff. Because, like, by my estimation, there's no more than 15,000 employees that work downtown. And, plus, even if they are combining Sinclair and Miami Valley Hospital, which is considered Midtown, and a couple other thousand jobs that are surrounding that, like, Miami Valley would be the largest employer, and I'll say they got anywhere from 2,000 to 5,000 employees, and the University of Dayton, I'm going to estimate around 2,000 to 4,000. So you might get 10,000 employees or close to 10,000 employees out of that. So these numbers, 42,000 employees, are just simply not true. You might get, if they're combining the actual downtown with what's down by the University of Dayton and Miami Valley Hospital, I'll estimate closer to 25,000 employees and 20,000 residents. They're probably including South Park. They might be including South Park in that area, and also the neighborhood that's near Miami Valley Hospital and UD. There's just simply no way you're going to get 20,000 people. You might get half of that, because downtown population total, it lists around 2,000 over there within the actual downtown, but population, they put this in parentheses. That might mean a surrounding area, but there's just simply no way. And within the actual numbers itself, I will estimate that the number of residents, if they're including the area, around Miami Valley Hospital and UD and South Park, I'll say this number is actually closer to 10,000. There's just simply no way that this is true. And of course, this thing about Tech Town, well, about being one of the high-tech downtown areas, there just simply is not true, because Tech Town, which I've discussed in other videos, I mean, that's mainly just an asphalt jungle around there. Plenty of vacant, space. But oh yeah, there it mentions it's becoming one of the most technology oriented and high-tech friendly downtowns in the United States. That simply is a lie, people. But anyway, I just thought I would address this. So, we need to seriously, look at the sources of the information that we're being given, because what they're listing here is just simply not true. But my estimation is, if they're including UD and Miami Valley Hospital, no more than 25,000 jobs total, and then no more than 10,000 residents, and probably within the downtown area, as I said, I'm going to say no more than 15,000 jobs out of the 42,000 employees that it's claiming. But that's going to be it for this one.